Hello, I'm Poonam Tandon, founder and president of MySA Review, also called MER. Thanks for joining the session. Today's subject of discussion is common mistakes to avoid in goals essays. Before we begin, we'll talk about our company, MER, and myself. Founded in 2011, MySA Review is a dedicated, personalized, and affordable B-School consulting service that believes in the principle that all applicants possess unique perspectives and life experiences that set them apart. Following this principle, we have supported hundreds of students in getting accepted into the top 20 MBA programs in the US, Europe, Canada, and Asia. In the past 11 years, we have achieved excellent success with our students, and 90% of them have been accepted into majority of their target schools. MER students have received admission with scholarships 30% to 100% from prestigious schools from all over the world, such as Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Haas, UCLA, Darden, INSEAD, LBS, ISB, to name a few. You can see the complete listing here. We have achieved excellent success with applicants with low GMAT scores also. Our clients have been accepted into top 20 programs with GMAT scores between 600 to 680. You can click here for testimonials. Also, we have successfully worked with reapplicants to top schools, including Kellogg, Booth, Columbia, Rice, Maryland, Macomb, and ISB. At $14.99 for one school and $27.99 for three schools, MER offers unbeatable value any way you look at it. MER prices are 50% lower than its direct competitors. Moreover, unlike other companies, we don't charge our students extra for rush service. We strive to know you completely to ensure we select your best stories for your essays. Every student works directly on a one-on-one basis with Poonam, the founder and CEO of MySA Review, and not with any part-time or junior consultants. Working with her, that's me, will remind you of your favorite teacher who invested time in getting to know you and do your best. We believe that every student deserves the best. Hence, we don't follow a cookie-cutter approach and will not slot you in any template or a particular profile, but provide in-depth and highly personalized support that is unique to your needs. We offer two primary packages, essay packages and school packages. School packages fall into two categories, basic and comprehensive. We do not segment our services into silver, gold, and platinum. You will get the same service level regardless of whether you purchase two essays or a 5-school package. Now, a few words about me, Poonam. I am PhD in English and I have taught English in India and the US for 30 years. With 3 decades of experience teaching essay writing to my students in these two countries, I founded my venture, MySA Review, in 2011 to provide personalized and dedicated consulting service to business school applicants. Since then, I have been a full-time consultant and have helped applicants get accepted into the top 20 MBA programs in the US, Canada, Europe, and Asia. Apart from business school applicants for the top 20 programs worldwide, I have also assisted applicants for other programs, that is EMBA, Masters, and PhD programs. A big part of my counseling is storytelling. I am passionate about my work and am highly committed to all of my students. My job is to assist them on the path to self-discovery and reflection, pull the right stories out of them, and help them bring out their best personal and professional self. I'm one of the top 5 most reviewed consultants on the GMAT Club. You can see the reviews here. I have been a member of AGAC, Association of International Graduate Admission Consultants, since 2012, and I have attended AGAC conferences at LBS, INSEAD, Cambridge, Booth, Kellogg, Ross, MIT, HBS, and Babson. Now let's talk about the session agenda. We'll first discuss the importance of goals essay in MBA applications. We'll also discuss why almost all B schools ask applicants about goals essays. Based on our more than a decade-long experience of assisting B school applicants, we have identified 13 common mistakes that applicants make when writing goals essays. We will discuss helpful strategy tips to correct each of these mistakes and also illustrate all these strategies by showing before and after examples from MER students' essays. And then in the end, we'll have a question answer session. Career goals essay is a critical component of MBA applications. So if you are applying to business schools in fall this year, you should begin the application process by thinking through your goals. Though business schools change or tweak essay questions every year, the two things that nearly every business schools ask applicants are, what are your short-term and long-term post-MBA goals? Short-term and long-term goals, and how will business school help you achieve these goals? These are the two essential questions of the entire application process. Now, what is the purpose of goals essay? A goals essay aims to provide the ADCOM an understanding of your professional and personal aspirations to help them determine your fit with the school. These schools want to have a clear idea of why you want to invest 2 years of your time, money, and effort to pursue a management education from your target business schools and how they can help you achieve them. It also helps them understand what you will bring to that school, means what value you will add to that school. So schools ask about goals to determine your fit with that school, which is very important. So while guiding students with their application essays, we have noticed some common pitfalls, mistakes across their essays, and now we are going to discuss them. Number one, inability to identify goals. Some students have hard time putting together their thoughts on their career objectives. Clarity of career goals is the foundation of your MBA application. Therefore, before you consider MBA as the next step in your career, you must do a deep self-reflection to identify what you want to do in the next 3 to 4 years. That is your short-term goal. And what you see yourself doing 8 to 10 years down the line means your long-term goal. So some of the common themes you can organize your thoughts on are, why do you want to pursue an MBA? What is your career goal post MBA? Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? Why are you interested in the program? How will you contribute to the MBA classroom? Number two, inability to understand essay prompt. It may sound cliche, but the key to writing a compelling goals essay is understanding the essay prompt and then addressing it. Read the essay prompt carefully and gauge what the school wants to know about you through this question. Then stay focused on the theme without going off track. A typical goals essay or a personal statement will include career history, short-term and long-term goals, skills you lack to achieve your goals, and the X school's role in helping you achieve them. Please note, no two schools have similar expectations regarding applicants' career goals. For example, Ross asks you to elaborate on your short term aspirations in 200 words. It doesn't ask about long term goals, nor does it expect you to explain why you want an MBA from Ross. Duke Fuqua asks a 100 words question about short term goals and your backup plans. NYU asks about short term goals in 150 words, whereas Darden asks about short term goals, short term goal only, and how it aligns with your long term vision. Number three, so some schools also ask about backup plans like Duke, Kelly, CMU, Oxford. Maryland Smith asks Plan B as well as Plan C. The bottom line is, even though your short term and long term goals will remain the same across all schools, you need to strategize and tailor your response to the essay prompt of that school. You cannot recycle one school's essay for another school. Number three, inadequate structure organization. Structure is very important in essays. So the another pitfall to avoid is the poor organization of ideas. In addition to providing all the relevant content about your career objectives, it is also crucial to organize your story well to make a lasting impact on the reader. You are the author of your story, so you should make sure to explain each logical step of your career history without leaving any loose ends. A goals essay is a narrative of your past, professional experience, present means your MBA, and future means short term and long term goals. So it's vital to connect these three essential components of your story to convince the admission committee about where you want to go in your career and how they can help you get there. Also, you must pay equal attention to all aspects of the essay question. Address each part of the essay question. Some essay questions have two, three sections, and I have seen that sometimes applicants tend to ignore the second or third part of the prompt. By asking three questions in one essay prompt, the schools seek to evaluate specific attributes in their prospective students. To answer the essay question holistically, I suggest that you break it down into multiple subsegments and then build a structure around each subsegment. For example, some applicants address the first part of the essay question in detail, leaving the other essential elements, short term goal or why X school, unanswered or incredibly brief. The key is to give equal footage to all parts of the essay questions. Also, use transitional expressions such as therefore, additionally, also, moreover, to connect your ideas. Do not assume the admission committee would know what you have not relayed to them. Fill all the gaps in your story, explaining each logical step. Now let's look at the following goals essay question of LBS. What are your career objectives and what steps are you taking to achieve them? What alternatives are you considering? What geographical region do you hope to work in? This question of LBS has the following four parts. So you need to make sure to address each of these questions. But number one and number two will need more space. What are your career objectives? What steps are you taking to achieve them? These are number one and number two. So these will need more space. What alternatives are you considering? Plan B. What geographical region do you hope to work in? Number four, lack of specific details. The most common mistake I have seen in applicants' goals essays is the lack of specific examples or details. Specificity is the key to MBA admission essays, so avoid vague generalities. Please note that the members of the admission committee read thousands of essays to evaluate their prospective students. So make sure that your goals are succinct, articulate, and specific. It's not enough to say that you would be a great contributor to the program. You must explain how you will add value by getting involved in the school's specific clubs and student organizations. Also, to show the AdCom that you have done your thorough research about the program, you should cite more than one resource or offering to align your interest with the program. Let's look at the example. I was also impressed with the choice of student clubs available. I will love to join Foster Consulting Club, Net Impact Club, and Blue Dots Club. So this is before example, which provides generic info about clubs but doesn't show their connection with the applicant's goals. Now let's look at the after example. The Foster Consulting Club will provide me with resources to prepare for challenging consulting interviews and case studies. The Net Impact Club will allow me to start a conversation about the mining industry. This primary industry will play a central role in dealing with challenges such as climate change, as most of the material required for the production of solar panels and electric cars is produced through mining. So you can see this example explains how specific clubs will set the candidate up for success. Number 5, inability to articulate post-MBA goals. This is the area where people struggle the most. Whether you are a career enhancer, career switcher, or career entrepreneur, you need to articulate how you plan to do it. Please note that it is vital to specify the job title, function, industry, and target firms you aim to join post-MBA. Also explain what you see yourself doing in the position. But make sure your goals are realistic as well as ambitious. That is, you aspire for something that is in some way connected to your professional experience. Even if you are changing industries, you must carry some transferable skills to help you with your post-MBA goals. As stated earlier, some schools also ask Plan B. So you need to think hard about that too and make sure that both your Plan A and Plan B lead you to your long-term goal. Let's look at the before and after example of an essay about short-term goals. Before example, my short-term goal is to work as a management consultant for any big 3 consulting firm. My long-term goal is to move into a strategy management consulting role and work as a partner in a top-tier management consulting firm, most preferably McKinsey, BCG, or Bain. a role in which I can create strategies at the organizational level based on the company's goal and make critical decisions for future direction. So, in this example, the writer has not articulated short term goals and has jumped right into long term goal after the first sentence. He has not explained how he sees himself progressing from short term goals to long term goals. Now, look at the after example, after iterations. My short term goal is to be a management consultant in the technology transformation domain for a top consulting firm like McKinsey, BCG, or Bain. In this role, I will help organizations implement technology driven transformation programs to leverage maximum value out of existing resources. In the next 5, 6 years, I want to move up towards a role and advise organizations on the kind of transformation they need to undertake to unlock the true potential and add value to their products or operations. So, as you can see, in the second example, the writer has named his target firm, described what he plans to do in his desired post MBA role, and how he sees himself progressing towards his midterm goal. It's much more impactful than the first one. Number 6, inability to explain why X school. This is the most crucial component of most goals essays that asks, why are you interested in our program? Every school has different culture, character, and offerings, so they need to know if they are a good fit for you or not. To explain this, you need to align their specific resources with your career aspirations. Singing their praises about their high ranking will not get you an admission offer. They already know where they stand. So instead, provide them specific details about how their resources, that is, curriculum, clubs, student organizations, teaching method, professors, will set you up for success. Also, share essential information about your efforts to learn about the school. For example, if you are talking to current students and alumni, which you should, and attending virtual events, explain how the insights you gain through these conversations and events have enhanced your understanding of the school and confirmed your decision to pursue your management education from this particular school. Let's look at the examples. Pardon my sore throat. Before example, switching the career path will be achievable with the help of MBA program where I can acquire in-depth skills needed for the field of interest. At the same time, an MBA degree will make my dream of becoming a top-level executive a reality by providing both academic and practical insights that I currently do not possess. So this example talks about acquiring skills for a field of interest. It doesn't specify why X school. Now let's look at the after example. An MBA from X school will equip me with the in-depth skills needed for consulting, as it offers the option to combine two concentrations and add on emphasis on consulting. The learning will help me earn a senior consultant position in consulting firms such as Deloitte, Cognizant, Shalon, Ernst and Young, the major recruiters at X School. So you can see in the The second example mentions specific field consulting and how the target school's MBA provides an option to combine two concentrations to earn senior consultant's position in specific companies. Number 7, use of jargon. Another common mistake I have seen in student essays is the use of technical terms that we call jargon, technical terms of their industry. Some applicants inadvertently provide lengthy technical details to highlight their technical expertise and tend to omit other relevant information. Please note that the industry specific terms are comprehensive only to your industry people. The use of excessive jargon makes it challenging for the non industry members of the admission committee to comprehend your story and distracts them from the real narrative. To create effective essays, you should use only as much jargon as is required to convey your story. Let's look at this example. I'll give you a few seconds to go through it yourself. Thank you. In the first example, the writer has described his recent project at length to explain how he will complement his skills with the knowledge he would gain from his target MBA program. Whereas in the second version, we eliminated all technicalities of the project, and now it's simple and easy to understand for a non industry person. Next, use of passive voice. One of the most common issues I have seen in applicant essays is a lack of personal touch. This is primarily because they often use passive voice, which makes their impressive personal stories impersonal and lifeless. The use of passive voice weakens their message and turns their heroic accomplishments into lackluster ones. Also, it makes the admission committee wonder if these are the writer's goals or someone else's. I strongly recommend using active voice to personalize your professional experience, accomplishments, and goals. However, being personal doesn't mean beginning every sentence with an I. The excessive use of I will make your writing monotonous. You may use a variety of sentence structures to enliven your writing. Even though these application essays are about you, you should not have more than two sentences in a paragraph beginning with an I. You can convey the same message by phrasing your sentences differently. Sentence variety helps make your essay strong and compelling. So try to compose a mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences. Let's look at the example. In January 2018 at TCS, when one of my colleagues were hospitalized, he had to leave in the middle of a project. Thereon, after intense discussions, it was decided that I would lead the team for the live upgrade of the biggest oil refinery on the East Coast. It's not clear who decided it because of the use of passive voice. Let's look at the second version. In January 2018, at TCS, one of my colleagues left in the middle of a project due to a medical emergency. After intense discussions, I volunteered to lead the team for the live upgrade of the biggest oil refinery on the East Coast. So, this second version articulates that the writer volunteered to lead the team when his colleague had to leave the project. This is certainly more impactful. Next, number 9. Mistake number 9, writing quotations. This is also a very common mistake that I have seen in goals essays and other essays too. People quote famous and distinguished people, leaders, philosophers, and scientists who have made a positive impact on the lives of future generations. It's a general perception that using quotations of eminent personalities is a powerful way to impress the admission committee. Hence, some applicants begin their essays with quotations. I strongly advise against using precious space to quote someone else. There are two reasons. First, the purpose of MBA essays is to gauge your motivation, values, beliefs, career goals, and accomplishments to determine your fit with the school. Therefore, quoting famous personalities may not be a value addition. Secondly, considering the increasingly stringent word limits of B School essays, you must use each word to throw a spotlight on you, not on anyone else. Let's see the example. The writer started his essay with a quotation from Marie Curie. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing or whatever cost must be attained. Post MBA, I'll assume a CTO role with XX company and contribute to the business strategy and development. Today, there are countless research achievements in the medical research community sitting on the shelf waiting to be realized for commercialization. Now look at the second version. My post MBA goal is to take up the CTA role with the company and contribute to business development and operations strategy. I intend to lead our startup into different industry beyond entertainment by defining a varied product portfolio and expanding the customer base and geographical presence. So, as you can see, in the first example, the writer starts his goals essay with a quote from a famous scientist and uses up 22 words in a 300 words goals essay. Also, there is a disconnect between the quote and the following statements. Whereas in the revised version, the writer begins his goals essay with a direct statement about his post MBA goals, and then he expands on it. The final version is concise and much more effective without a quotation. Number 10, spoon feeding the AdCom. One of the common mistakes I see in applicant essays is that they try to spoon feed the reader. Now, what is spoon feeding means? They want to say everything. You do not need to say everything explicitly. We suggest follow the principle of show, not tell, and tell your story, speak for you. For example, you do not need to say that your manager was quite impressed with your work, so he gave you a promotion. The fact that you received an early promotion indicates that your supervisor appreciated your excellent work and rewarded you with a promotion or an award. Let's look at the examples. I believe I have a talent for accounting which can be proved by my academic performance. This is the first version. Version number two, I passed all five of Chinese Institute of Certified Public Accounts unified exams with high scores in my first attempt, though the passing rates for these exams are less than 10%. As you can see in the first example, the writer talks about his talent in accounting but doesn't provide any evidence of his talent. This is an example of tell. But in the second version, the writer follows show, not tell example and provides all the relevant information of his talent for accounting. Instead of telling it, he is showing it. This is a perfect example of show, not tell, and much more effective because it gives the admission committee specific information about your talent for accounting. Next, number 11, inability to be precise. Beating around the bush is another common pitfall in MBA goals essays. Every year, B schools are reducing the number of essays and words, so you need to be as precise as you can. Follow the principle of less is more and learn to use fewer words to describe you. Avoid repetitive content, get to the point, and replace the long phrases with their shorter equivalents. Do not provide lengthy background information. By choosing your words wisely and judiciously, you can achieve precision in telling your stories. For example, you may replace with regard by about, in order to by to, made a decision to by decide, despite the fact that by although, and so on. Also, you can avoid using empty words such as actually, very, quite, totally, absolutely, definitely, really. Let's look at the example. Technological advancements and breakthroughs have reshaped our way of lives as the philosophy of MBA program stresses. I believe that to thrive in this increasingly digitized world, one has to be agile and be able to speak the language of technology. It is also important to ensure that the dialect of technology is comprehensible and that the benefits of these machine and human collaborated child are realized by maximum people. The field of analytics is the sweet spot where business meets math and technology. This lengthy introduction at the beginning of Goals essay doesn't talk about the writer's goals at all, but a lot of precious space is wasted with the background information. Let's look at the revised version. My immediate goal post MBA is to rise to more strategic roles in the business technology sector with a primary focus on product management. I envision myself in the role of a product manager or product marketing manager in technology firms such as Apple, Microsoft, and Google. My enriched experience in the retail industry can also help me add immense value to e-commerce giants such as eBay and Amazon. As a product owner, I see myself managing the product lifecycle, prioritizing customer and stakeholder requests, defining the vision, and working cross-functionally to deliver winning projects. So, as you can see in the first example, the writer starts his goals essay of 300 words with a lengthy introduction of 85 words, but doesn't say anything about his post MBA goal. Whereas in the second version, he addresses the essay prompt directly with a statement about his post MBA goals. Want to learn how to meet the stringent word limits of MBA essays? Read the following blog for helpful tips. Next, writing bulky sentences, lengthy sentences. I often come across essays filled with extremely lengthy and complicated sentences stretching 50 to 60 words. Sometimes people write a paragraph of one sentence only, making it difficult for the reader to comprehend it. Please avoid overpacking your sentences. Break them down into two sentences to make them easily understandable. As I suggested earlier, bring variety to your essay by writing a combination of simple, compound, and complex sentences. Finally, proofread it for sentence structure, punctuation, grammar, and spelling errors. These errors are a poor reflection on your candidacy and can hurt your chances of admission. Also, when applying to USB schools, the non native applicants should proofread their essays for terms that US admission committee may be unfamiliar with. You may click here for our blog on specific food proofreading tips for non natives. Last, providing descriptive details. See, everybody likes descriptions. We read When we read stories, we like to read the descriptions. But MBA essays are not a place for writing elaborate descriptions. Indeed, descriptive details paint a vivid picture of the situation in the reader's mind. But in these short essays of 200 to 250 or 300 words, such descriptions take away a big chunk of the allowed space. So we should omit them or keep them to the minimum, depending on the permitted length, and focus only on the essential details. I have shown in the presentation beginning of a goals essay for LBS. Being at backstage of Pagoda's Philharmonic Concert Hall for my first presentation there was surreal. The lights, the scenario, and the audience were perfect for the occasion. However, I was stunned and just wanted to be the best after all the hard work I had done. Playing the saxophone has been a passion for me and an example of how effort and commitment can take you anywhere. See, it's very charming in description. The writer is providing descriptive details of his thoughts before starting his stage performance in a concert. However, this fascinating description uses up 69 words but still fails to provide background info about his career goals. Now, let's look at the second example after 4 iterations. In early 2018, I was undecided if I should continue my consulting career at KPMG or pursue a pre experienced master's degree in finance. At that time, I was offered a lower paid position at Credit Corp, one of the biggest brokerage firms in Colombia. I accepted it, rejecting a promotion offer and postponing my master's plans. Since my first day at the trading desk, I have been fascinated by finance and understood the career path I wanted to seek. See, the second example is the final version, wherein the writer begins by providing background information to explain his interest in finance. So this is certainly much more effective than the first one that doesn't tell anything about his goals. So that's all I had to say. And if you follow the pointers we have discussed, you'll be able to create a compelling and convincing goals essay that will set you apart from the applicant pool and earn you admission into a program that is your best fit. Please note, MBA essay writing is a highly time intensive and challenging process that requires self reflection, planning, preparation, and a significant amount of writing and rewriting and rewriting. But you will love the process if you give yourself enough time. I hope you found the session helpful, and I wish you good luck with your goals essay, with your admissions, with your applications in round one. You may also visit our webpage and sign up for ebook of 30 essays that worked. Visit MER blog for MBA related articles. You have now the question, you have some links in your, will the presentation be available? I think it will be available. Also, I have some success stories of MBR students. These success stories are interviews, video interviews of MER students. Prospective applicants are always curious to know what it takes for people to receive admission offers from their dream programs. So some of our students have shared their application experience in video conversations with us. You may check out our YouTube channel on our blog for these success stories, wherein our students from diverse backgrounds and demographics have shared their application experience, goals, challenges, and their advice on meeting those challenges. Some students have also shared their first year and second year B school experience. I have just given hyperlinks to some of these interviews. You can also fill out free consultation form at our website. And for questions, email me at poonam@myessay.review.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer them. Any questions? I don't see any questions. Can you suggest some tips to link the short-term and long-term goals? For this, you should have an idea what you see yourself doing in your desired position post MBA, and then how you see yourself progressing from your short term goal to long term goals. So that is why deep self reflection is required for writing goals essays. You have to think through what is it that you aim to do post MBA, what position you are aspiring for, and what you will be doing in that position, and how that position and will finally lead you to your long term goal. Do you all help mid career professionals seeking admissions in 1 year programs such as Stanford MSX? Yes. I have worked with EMBA candidates also, people who have 20 years of work experience, 25 years of work experience also. See, you apply the same essay writing skills whether you write, whether you work with MBA applicants, EMBA applicants, or PhD applicants, or master's applicant. The long term goals need to be really aspirational or something that is quite doable. Yes, Satish, long term goals can be aspirational also. Your short term goals should be more realistic, but your long term goals can be a little aspirational because you are thinking 8 to 10 years from now, something that you aspire to do 8 to 10 years from now. So you can be idealistic, you can be aspirational. If I'm still in low position of organization but have experience in the finance and taxes field for 5 years, can I apply to MBA program? Why not, Randy? You still, yes, you can. You're welcome, Satish. Uh, no, there's no difference between essays of US B schools or European B schools. Yes, I mean, you use the same essay writing skills as I said before, but the expectations of one school is different from another school. Any other question? Are there any other questions? Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you all for attending the session. It was my pleasure, and you can write to me at poonam@myessay.review.com or fill out the free consultation form. Thank you all who attended the session, and thanks, Abhijit.